Welcome in, folks. This is the AJ Sports Show, and we are doing some draft coverage today. So we'll,
Yeah.
uh, we'll go over our first round together. We'll poke fun at Jay for getting the least amount correct. Although it was he got
Wait a
five.
minute. I was gonna.
Oh,
I,
We
yeah.
I
have
have a rebuttal. One rebuttal.
breaking
Yeah,
I
news.
think it might be a tie.
Oh
Breaking news.
snap! Oh snap! Okay,
Okay.
what's
I
what's
may
your
have to
rebuttal?
eat pickles.
Would you like to give it to me? Okay, because right now, Asa, you were the big winner. Would you have 7, right?
7, yeah.
Okay. Now, I would like to submit evidence for you guys to review. I had a certain gentleman by the name of Christian Darrisaw going to the Vikings. And he went to the Vikings, just not at 14.
Okay.
He went there at
I could
23.
have sworn we counted that though,
Did we count that?
I
That's
thought
the
we
question. Did we count
but maybe
that?
we didn't. I
I
don't
don't
know.
remember. I
could
don't think
just-
we
I'm
did.
gonna pull it up on
Yeah,
Instagram.
I think I was the
fast.
only one who had him going there. Or did we all have him going there?
No, we didn't all have him going there.
See, that's all I'm saying. I not that I don't want. I'm not because I'm not going to get away with the punishment, but I want to bring that guy down with me.
Andrew, so
damn spiteful, man. Not
why
nice.
don't you, Andrew? Why don't you verify while we
I had to put that out there real
talking.
quick.
what's
Hello,
going-
Elizabeth.
what's up,
Lord
Lord
Lizzie.
What up, Elizabeth?
Okay,
Ah,
so we have the
Best
live
coffee of my life yesterday, by the way. Gowally Grinds. If you know, you know.
hashtag. The Jaguars just took Walker Little
Oh, okay. He's a tackle.
tackle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick for them, man.
Okay.
Did they
Andrew-
just trade up?
Yeah, I think so.
They had to have, right?
I don't think they were in that order.
They were not. There's no way because they just had. I mean, obviously they just had their pick. They went.
I'm pretty sure that was their spot.
No way. They had another one. They had another second round pick that fast.
We'll tell you right now. They traded
Yeah, I would think so.
with Minnesota.
Mm.
It's a lot to keep. It's a lot to keep track of. Well, I mean, this is the Jaguars draft so far. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, teaming up from the same college. Tyson
Right.
Campbell.
Tyson Campbell.
first pick, and then they just
Yep.
got a lineman. So I mean, they're doing
Yeah.
well for themselves offensively wise, and getting a contributor on the defensive end.
We'll talk a little bit about the Jags because not that I don't like Travis Etienne there. I mean, I thought that's where he may go, but couldn't you think you got him in one of these picks?
Right.
I mean, you could have gotten Trayvon Moehrig. He just got picked by the Raiders. I thought it was egregiously low for him. So, I mean, if you're the Jags, you could have added Trayvon Moehrig. I mean, they just signed Shaquille Griffin, so I mean, their corners aren't terrible. And they just draft. Was that corner they just drafted a few years ago, Andrew, the second round pick?
The Jaguars?
Jaguars, yeah.
You're talking about CJ Henderson, right?
CJ Henderson, yeah, yep. And then now you add a safety if you would have got Moehrig there, and then Etienne could have been on one of your second round picks. But yes, I'm kind of asking for a recount, Lord Lizzie.
The Bengals are on the clock right now.
Widespread fraud.
Did you recount everything, Andrew?
Still doing it.
Okay. So I'll just start. The first 5 picks of the draft went the way I guessed them to.
Yeah.
And the first 2 went the way everybody guessed them. So Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, number 1 and 2. It's gonna be interesting to see how Zach Wilson turns out in this league. I mean, very very little experience, so it's a little scary. I mean, when you look at it that way, the Jets obviously didn't have successful franchise rebuild with Sam Darnold. So I mean, new coaches and all of that aside, though, so we can't discredit their chances yet. But it is interesting
To a
So
better
it's-
start, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
look at what they've done already. They got they went right now and they just drafted Elijah Moore. They went this offseason and got Corey Davis. They have Jamison Crowder. They have an offensive line that's fine. It's not terrible. Like when Sam Darnold was there recently, it's decent. Their defensive side of the ball, they're adding C.J. Mosley, Quinnen Williams is a monster on the defensive front. I mean, he's already off to a blazing start compared to what Sam Darnold was given over there.
Right. Yeah, and
So-
and Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson aside, you know, they kind of, well, Trevor Lawrence was always going to be the number one pick. I don't know since when, but it's been a while. But yeah, I mean,
since we saw him as a freshman, bro, the dude's unbelievable.
But Zach Wilson, like rating aside, he has been rated pretty good by different like draft people and stuff like that. So we'll see how that turns out. But we had 3 quarterbacks going in the first round. I think that hasn't happened in like 13 years. And when you look at the history of that happening, I think 1 and 3 has panned out the last 2 times this has happened. I think Donovan McNabb was a part of the last group that turned out well. So we'll see. I mean, it's not a guarantee, right? I mean, we have no idea. Trey Lance also doesn't have a large sample size, right? I think he even has. I think he like had 312 snaps at North Dakota State last year. So
he's he only has 318 career pass attempts, which is the fewest by any first round quarterback taken in the last 40 years. I didn't say 4, last 40 years. The only ones that were even close, the last one I can remember was Mark Sanchez, and he had 473. So almost another 150 more pass attempts. And we saw what happened to butt fumble Mark Sanchez. So, not that Trey Lance is Mark Sanchez. Like, I think this is a great pick. I mean, I was much more okay with this than Mac Jones. I had them taking Mac Jones just because everybody and their mama kept telling me they're taking Mac Jones. I could not, for the life of us three were some of the only people who were like, for the life of us, could not understand why you would take Mac Jones when you give up all that for a ceiling that's so low, and you could have got him where you were. I even put in my notes, Ace, on 2.0. Mac Jones, quarterback, Alabama. I hate it. Facepalm. Like, I mean, so Trey Lance has more of a higher upside, so I like that, but super inexperienced. That's kind of what the deal is with Zach Wilson, which is what you were getting at. Yeah, they both, offer a little sample size. Zach Wilson offers more than Trey Lance, and the sample size besides last year is not very good. I mean, he wasn't even completing more than 65% of his or 63% of his passes the first 2 years he was starting at BYU. People seem to forget that he started 2 other seasons at BYU. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, so Trey Lance went number 3. My kind of rationale there when we were talking in our last mock draft that we did was if the 49ers are going to trade for someone, they would want to make a bigger splash than Mac Jones. And Mac Jones did fall. I mean, a lot of sources said he was going to go 3. He ended up going 15 to the Patriots. So we knew there were going to be trades. We just didn't know, who was going to pull the trigger and where. And
right.
It so just happened that the Patriots weren't even involved in a trade in the first round.
Right.
The Cowboys and the Eagles traded. They swapped 10 and 12 right here because the Eagles wanted to jump the Giants, who were at 11. Once the Giants couldn't get Devontae Smith, the Giants dropped to pick number 20, and then Chicago Bears jumped up to 11. So we can talk about the quarterbacks real quick. Just to get the flashiest position out of the way here. So Justin Fields went 11, which if we thought Mac Jones might go ahead of him, so it was nice to see Justin Fields getting not dropping too much, and
should have never made it out of the top 10, bro.
Yeah, Chicago had to draft, had to, take the risk, I think, because they haven't had much quarterback success in their franchise, but they had an open opportunity here. And then I think this also brings back Allen Robinson, if Allen Robinson actually has, someone adequate to throw him the ball to, as long as Justin Fields pans out. But like you said in our mock draft, Justin Fields, also has the stats and the numbers and the career to say hey, I'm fantastic, I've proven it on one of the highest levels. So
he's the second best quarterback in this draft, and they got him at 11. They did give up the number 20 this year and the 164 next year, and the 1st and 4th in 2022. Yeah, so that's what they ended up giving up. They gave up the 20 this year and the 164 this year, and then they gave up a 1st next year and a 4th round pick next year for Justin Fields. We talked about this yesterday, bro. Yeah, you're not going to be picking very high if Justin Fields does what Justin Fields, is capable of doing. He's got this probably, I would say, in terms of ceiling, he has the third highest ceiling. Because I think Trey Lance can be unbelievable. Like, I mean, him and Trevor Lawrence have the two highest ceilings of this draft. But Justin Fields is the second best quarterback in this draft right now. And they got him at 11th. So I was hoping that he would go to the Niners, not hoping, but that's what made the most sense to me when they traded up there. Never did we hear a peep about that. I did want to mention too about Trey Lance. Do you hear Colin Cowherd trying to take credit? Apparently he's sweetening the pot with GMs now. Do you hear about that, Ace?
No, tell me about it.
Yeah. So he was on his show today and he was talking about it. Apparently he ran into Trey Lance. He was training in LA and he ran into him just so rapidly. Yeah, just out of the blue. They go to the same smoothie bar. Right. Had a conversation with them and then texted John Lynch and was like, just met with Trey Lance. Kid's unbelievable. Kid's an unbelievable dude or something like that. And then John Lynch texted him back and was like, thanks, Colin. And then last night after John Lynch picked Trey Lance, he sent Colin a couple of fist bumps.
What? Okay. Yeah,
Colin
Cowherd was the first person to meet Trey Lance.
No, he was doing it kind of condescendingly. I doubt he actually meant it, but
right.
It's Colin Cowherd. He probably meant it.
Why do you need to say anything? I don't even get it. Why? And if you're a GM, it just makes him look silly. No GM is listening to Colin Cowherd.
Yeah,
not like they're GMs. I think they're more potent to the information than Colin Cowherd.
I also don't think they have time to listen to that. They're listening to their scouts and their guys talking to them. They're not going to listen to people just have conjecture about what they think the team might do. So, I don't think it was. I don't know. But Colin is that's what he always does. This is his MO. He just
the Chargers
brand for him.
Chargers got Asante Samuel.
Bastards. Damn, that's good. Anyway, so I have 6 and Johnny has 6. The Dare saw one.
Oh,
if we're counting the Dare, if we're counting the ones where you get you get a point for predicting the right team, but not the spot, then.
Okay, so
I
think
I know which one of you yahoos made it tied with eating something. I was all good with water in the face, hoping that's what I was gonna end up with. I don't like onions.
I think what we're gonna have to do here is I'll put both your names into a box, and then I'll take one out, and whoever I take out gets ice water over the head and body, and then the second one I take out has to eat a food that they don't like.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. That's
Fine.
fine.
We'll just let the odds
The Hunger Games.
Yeah, may they be in your favor.
Oh man.
Okay, so that was I'm glad you didn't lose. You lost together, and Elizabeth said she voted for the water bucket. She had your best interest in mind.
I did too, for what it's worth.
Thank you, Lord Lizzie. Also, we were the ones. There you go. You voted for the food.
I voted for the food. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, if I lost, I was gonna have to eat cottage cheese. Cottage cheese, just the thought of it is just.
So now I feel better because I only lost by 1. I was really down on myself. But then there were a lot of picks, and all of us really did this, where we may have not gotten the exact player right, but we were right in the realm. We were in the right position grouping. We were thinking the right way.
In the frame of thinking, of where they were going to go, right?
Yeah. Did you guys lose me there for a second?
No, I don't think so. You're good.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's one thing to know where the team is going to pick because they can just trade around, but sometimes they move back and then they draft the same players. So, and that's kind of what happened on a few occasions in the first round. So we had Mac Jones go to the Patriots. The Patriots got the guy that they wanted, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. But he whispered in Goodell's ear when he got drafted. He's like, "This is what I wanted all along. Don't tell anybody." Oh, okay. All right, buddy. Go enjoy your career with Bill Belichick. Grumpy.
Wait,
Grumpy
actually,
Bill.
or are you just joking?
No. He whispered.
No, he did. Yeah.
Okay.
No cap.
That's interesting.
I mean, you just got drafted in the first round by the New England Patriots. It's you're happy.
I'd want to be on the Patriots too.
Yeah, I would too, to be honest. Yeah.
Come on now. You silly? What?
And I mean, he he had a he's played behind what, Jalen Hurts and Tua,
Yeah.
so and he's performed well. But Jalen Hurts and Tua are right now not necessarily blossoming into. They have not yet blossomed. So and they've only been in the league for a year, so we can't necessarily knock them too hard. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he turns out as well. And then it would be interesting to see just the three of them in general, how they do, with time given, and are they flops or are they not? So yeah, but the Patriots didn't have to do anything. They got their guy. They spent. They did things this year that they've never done before, spent money in free agency, and drafted a quarterback in the first round, none of which has ever been their MO. So we shall see how that turns out for them. But, I mean, I think we're all pretty, we thought pretty well, like they drafted pretty well with getting a quarterback, and they didn't have to trade up, so, that works for them, I guess.
Yeah, and Bill Belichick and Nick Saban are buddies, so I'm sure that had something to do with making sure that Mac Jones fell into the right hands of Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. So Kyle Pitts was the first pass catcher off the board, tight end out of Florida. We thought that he would be a good fit in Atlanta. My point was Arthur Smith used to be a tight ends coach, so I like the combo of him being there and being able to develop under a guy who used to develop tight ends. So
yeah, and he's unbelievable. He was the second best player in the draft. It was, I mean, we've talked about this a few times. It's Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Pitts. It's not particularly close. He's the best tight end that's ever been evaluated in NFL draft history. I literally check on everything. Like,
right. The we thought that maybe Atlanta would trade back because they needed help on the defensive side of the ball. So there's the possibility that that maybe given a right trade opportunity that they could build their defensive squad a little bit up more. But yeah, I mean, this was the best player available, so it was good on them there to take him there.
Bro, once the Niners picked Trey Lance, Atlanta's leverage on that 4 spot went right down the crapper. I mean, that's right. Like, that's no surprise, right? Like, if they would have gone with Mac Jones there, the upside of Trey Lance would have made people okay with overspending on draft picks to get up there and get Trey Lance. But once Trey Lance was off the board, and then you could talk yourself into Mac Jones falling. But when you see a guy like Trey Lance, who's got all the measurables, the arm talent, we talked about how smart he is. He's able to, read the full field, which is something that quarterbacks in college don't do often, and call his own protections at the line of scrimmage. I mean, again, we've seen a very small sample size from this dude, but you can talk yourself into that, right? It's kind of hard to talk yourself into Mac Jones, who played in the best college football team for the last 20 years, for the best college football coach probably ever. And with the best players, the most talented receivers, the best offensive line, I mean, at least this guy, again, Trey Lance, he's from a small school. He hadn't even unlocked his potential yet. And his potential is, 17-0 as a starter, or he's 17-0 as a starter, and no interceptions and 40 touchdowns in a single season. So I just wanted to make that known. Once San Francisco picked Trey Lance, the leverage for Atlanta to get anything that would be monetary, that would be a good haul in return, was kind of lacking at that point.
Yeah, that's a great point. Andrew, I think you had Rondell Moore going in the first round, and he just got drafted by the Arizona Cardinals to.
I like that a lot to help Kyler out. Another little weapon to Kyler. They got a good receiver. I mean, again, this is the thing. A lot of teams are going three receivers. They think they need to have three guys, three real studs out there. And I mean, now you have DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, who they like a lot, and a guy like Rondell Moore, who's really good after the catch, just to help. You're surrounding. This is what Green Bay didn't do. This is literally everybody else is just you getting a young quarterback and they're helping them automatically. Before Rondell Moore came, you guys were talking about Trey Lance. The 49ers drafted an offensive lineman to go with their new quarterback. Aaron Banks was selected at number 48. Trying to do a little bit of look and see who he is. I didn't really hear his name too much, but
He's a guard.
He's a guard
from
yeah.
Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. He's a really good run blocker. When I read, he struggles with like his mobility. So like if you're gonna ask him to pull and stuff, that's where he kind of struggles. But they don't ask linemen to do that a whole lot in Kyle Shanahan's zone run scheme. So if he's just able to down block on those 3 techs and use his big body, he's gonna be good.
Yeah, no, I was listening to Daniel Jeremiah this morning, and he was saying that through like all their evaluations and the scouts that he talks to, that this is just a little tidbit on Aaron Banks and Notre Dame. He said that Notre Dame are like the most highly evaluated offensive linemen, and through the league and throughout the league. They think they're the best coach, and they're the most NFL ready. So you saw 2 of them. There's 2 of them off the board. Liam Eichenberg went to Miami, right? That's a really good pickup in my opinion. He was a 3-year starter over at Notre Dame. Played for Ian Book his entire career. So again, just Notre Dame offensive linemen are a good way to go. Sometimes they get drafted in the later rounds, but sometimes they get drafted like in the top 10, like Quentin Nelson, and are absolute studs. But they're usually going to be decent pros. So
yeah, I'm with you. So just continuing down this list, Jamar Chase got reunited with Joe Burrow out of LSU. So this whole draft had like 4 reunited duos.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence got Travis Etienne to follow him. Jamar Chase goes back to to play with Joey Burrow. And then it was Devontae Smith with Jalen Hurts and Jalen Waddle with Tua, right?
Yeah, with Tua. Yep.
Yeah.
He was there. He was at Alabama.
So we just talked about these 3 wide receivers, right? So Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, and Devontae Smith, the top three wide receivers, went in the top 10 picks. So I mean, we thought that maybe one of them would fall a little bit, but the Eagles were afraid, so they jumped up to get him a little sooner. Had their eyes on him. It was pretty clear there. We didn't necessarily know if Miami was going to go wide receiver. They're just building their wide receiver talent up a little bit more now. So
it's really weird at 6 with Penei Sewell sitting right there. I mean, Jalen Waddle is projecting to be an amazing pro and is drawing comps to like some of the most explosive guys in league history. But it's just weird that they didn't safeguard with a guy like Penei Sewell. So that was a little weird. Jalen Waddle, I had him going 15, so that's. He really, really exceeded, or like.
Right. People talked about him moving up the draft board, which I mean, if you like a guy, you like a guy. That makes sense to me. I get a little worried when your comp is Tyreek Hill. So is Jalen Waddle going to come in and just immediately be the fastest person on every football field? Because if he's not, that's not Tyreek Hill. And I know Tyreek does a lot more than just that. Tyreek has come a long way, bro. That's what we thought he was at first. But dude has become a great route runner, goes up and gets contested catches against top tier corners. And don't get me wrong, Andy Reid scripts stuff up for him and gets some easy yards for him to get him going.
Yeah.
That's what's called being a good coach. But I get a little nervous when your comp is somebody like Tyreek. Like it's like saying, oh, this kick returner's coming to the league. Who's his comp? Oh, Devin Hester. Okay, all right. I'll be all right with that. I mean, it's the best to ever do it. Like literally, they're like, oh, he's really fast. His comp is Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. So you better not be really fast. Like really fast in the NFL doesn't mean anything. You better be like lightning.
Right. Which is hard to do. I mean, these guys run fast as it is, and so Tyreek just is out running fast guys. It's nuts. But yeah.
He's the only person in the NFL who makes fast guys look slow, like all the time. Right? Mm-hmm. So if Jalen Waddle's going to come do that, then by all means he's worth the 6th pick. I think didn't the Dolphins just draft the guard in the 2nd round, or am I crazy? They traded back. I'm sorry.
They took the Dolphins took Javon Holland, safety in the 2nd round, and then they traded up to get Liam Eichenberg, the tackle out of Notre Dame.
So that's what I was going to say. So there you go. So that's how, I guess, if you're the Dolphins, now you can rationalize that a little bit, right? So you didn't go with the tackle in the 1st round because you really like Jalen Waddle, and then you could tell yourself, we thought the tackles on the back, that we can get in the 2nd round were not as big of a downgrade as it was from Jalen Waddle to Devontae Smith. I don't agree with that because I had Devontae Smith ranked higher than Jalen Waddle. I think Devontae Smith is a much better contested catch maker, a much better route runner, a more polished wide receiver in general than Jalen Waddle is. He doesn't do as much after the catch that Jalen Waddle does, Smith, I mean. But I would have taken Devontae Smith first. I would have taken Penei Sewell here if I was the Dolphins. But that's, I guess, how you could talk yourself into it if you get Eichenberg.
Right. So Penei Sewell going to the Lions. The Lions GM was like going absolute wild once they realized that it fell to them. They just like he was slamming his hand on tables, and they were pretty pumped. So and I think that was a better pick probably for the Lions than getting a wide receiver. Just in my point of view, like they're rebuilding, so the Packers with thoughts, rumors that Aaron Rodgers might retire. That's an open division next year, and you maybe don't necessarily need to win it next year, but you could win it the year after that. And then I just wanted to mention one guy that we had in all our mocks going in the first round, Azeez Ojulari, just got drafted by the New York Giants. Nice edge guy. Nice edge guy out of Georgia. So it's a good pick for the Giants. I mean, they got him at pick number 50, so damn. But yeah, I think we all had him. Jay and I had him going to the Ravens, and I don't remember where Andrew had him going. But either way,
I'll check right now. I think I had him going similar. I had him going to the Colts.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. At like
about 5 picks ahead. Yeah.
Or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because Peyton Turner, defensive end, out of oh my gosh, I don't even remember. We're gonna look.
Houston, right?
Yeah, Houston. Yeah.
He was like on a lot of like people's grades. He was graded like a third round talent to a second round talent. So that's probably where Azeez Ojulari maybe should have went. But that was one of the curveballs we got last night. Was a couple of guys we didn't think were going to go in the first round at all. For the most part, though, we did a pretty good job of kind of deciding. There were less wide receivers taken, like some of the second grouping of wide receivers taken that we thought might go. So that just kind of shows you that teams thought that they could probably get them in the second round. And it's, if you can trade up a couple picks in the second round, it's less capital you have to give up. So maybe some teams thought that they would do that. And, you can, so far today in the second round, Elijah Moore went to the Jets. So it's a nice pick for...
Love that pick for the Jets.
For Zach Wilson, and Rondell Moore went to the Cardinals, as we mentioned. So far two have gone, and I want to say those were the last two guys that were like in that second grouping. So we're kind of going into that third grouping, which is led by Diami Brown from North Carolina, and who's McCullough from whatchamacallit University.
Terrace Marshall.
Oh yeah, Terrace Marshall. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for taking the words out of my mouth. He's probably the last guy we'll see going here, but we'll see.
Absolutely.
Washington is on the clock. Pick number 51. The pick is in. So we'll see once my ticker updates on the side here.
Sam Cosmi. Sorry, I beat you to it.
Sam Cosmi, nice. Good pick for them. Out of Texas, tackled. We thought maybe if the Chiefs didn't trade out of the first round that they would take him there. Nice talent. But Washington, good on them. They have a lot to work with now, as far as talent going into next season. So
and that kind of goes back to like how Jay was saying, how both you guys were saying. Actually, like we were kind of like in the frame of thinking, like we thought they were going to go offensive lineman in round one. They ended up going linebacker, but we all kind of expected them to go linebacker. Mm-hmm. And offensive lineman, so it was kind of one of those things. So again, they take the offensive lineman here, and it's kind of filling a need for them. They probably weren't able to trade up for any of these quarterbacks. So you build out the rest of your roster, and they've gotten two pretty good players so far. I think they've had a pretty decent draft when you kind of take a look at it, but still a long way to go. 6 more rounds, so we shall see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, they took Jamin Davis with their 19th pick in the first round.
That was a good call, Jay.
He was a riser for me, bro. Dude was unbelievable.
Yeah. The Browns are on the clock right now.
Are the Browns going to get a Wosu Koromoa here?
Carolina actually just traded up with the Browns.
The Browns inside linebacker core is dog meat. What are we doing?
Apparently, they really like what's his name over there. They signed Anthony Walker, right? I guess they keep saying like I've seen like like Brown Twitter heads talk about like how much they like Anthony Walker and stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know how much truth is behind it, but I mean, they follow the Browns a little more than I do. So, but Owusu Koromoa is who I had the Browns taking in round 1. So
Me too, man. So I thought they would go for him here.
Could possibly happen if he keeps dropping. So we'll see. So kind of just continuing from the first round. J.C. Horn, the number 8th pick to the Panthers. Andrew called that on his mock draft.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought Micah Parsons would be the first defensive guy to go, but
Yeah.
I was about to say, who'd have thought J.C. Horn be the first one to go?
but his stock like was ripping hot the last couple of days. And his dad used to play the NFL, so I don't know. Maybe his dad was texting some people, "Hey, put up some good word for my son." Speaking about his dad, real quick, he was interviewed and he was talking about how he was so upset that Aaron Rodgers took the limelight away from the NFL draft, and that his son should be talked more about today, the day after the draft, than Aaron Rodgers. I get it, but I mean, your son went number 8 overall. It's not like he was like the number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence, or I don't know. I mean, I get it, like, but you know, the news, trying to keep up with the news cycle, especially something in the NFL draft, which is just like dropping picks after picks. It's hard to be a highlight, you know. So,
Joe, let's calm down, okay, Joe? Let's calm down,
Right,
okay?
right.
Your son's not Aaron Rodgers, okay? I get it's the draft. He's Aaron freaking Rodgers, okay? He's like the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL. Well, 4th, because I'll put Josh Allen in there. So yeah, let's hold it up there. J.C. Horn's not the best corner in this draft. It was Patrick Surtain. I know his stock was rising. Andrew agrees. Andrew, you're agreeing, right? Like, I think you think Patrick Surtain's better, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think Patrick Surtain should have been the first corner off the board. I saw a lot of mocks and a lot of articles and a lot of things linking J.C. Horn and the fact that they were going away from quarterback and looking at corner instead. So I decided to go J.C. Horn, but I do think Patrick Surtain's better.
Yeah, so the Panthers, who just got Sam Darnold, have great weapons already with Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Their offensive line stinks, and their fix for that offensive line that stinks was to go get Cam Irving, who graded 76th out of 89 qualified tackles last year, and Eiflin, who graded 78th out of 86 qualifying guards last year. So I don't understand why Rashawn Slater was not chosen here. He immediately comes in and starts at left tackle for you, opposite of Moden. I know that people mentioned about him maybe moving inside. Dude played left tackle at Northwestern in the Big Ten. Went up one-on-one against Chase Young and looked very good, and only allowed 5 pressures in an entire college football season and no sacks. So I don't understand why that wasn't done here. Their defense isn't great, and their secondary needs help. But Rashawn Slater fell right into the Chargers' hands. God dang it. The Chargers are having an unbelievable draft right now, and I can't stand it.
Yeah. Well, they got a high threshold to compete with. I mean, they're chasing, you know, the Chiefs in that division. So
the Chiefs just became like a very good team. We can't get like the Patriots, like get a little lucky where everyone just sucks for a little bit. Like, I know the Broncos haven't been great, and I know that the Raiders haven't been amazing, but they've been competent. Like, can't we get like a little AFC East action when like your Bills were dog and the Dolphins were awful? And I mean, the only team that really ever competed was the Patriots. They were like 10 games above every other team in the division.
Well, I gotta deal with the fact that the Patriots just spent a bunch of money and they got Mac Jones now. I gotta deal with the Jets having Zach Wilson and Elijah Moore and new coaches. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah just went to the Browns.
See, we got the team.
Just went to the Browns.
We had
I
him
don't know how
we
they got
had
him
him
this far, bro.
Yeah, we had him at 26, and he goes double that at 52.
There is no way.
And then we also I know we did the bet for the first round, but I thought maybe you guys were gonna be like, oh, can we get an extra point so we could be tied? Because we had him going to that team. It just
We should have, yeah, just a different pick, yeah, different pick and different round. I just overshot his draft value by a whole half.
I just want to remind everyone we did a first round mock draft only, a first round mock draft. I don't want to lose because if I probably didn't get another one right. I mean, I'm gonna lose if we do. So
no, we're good.
First round mock draft.
We're good. We're new to this betting betting thing apparently, so it's okay. We did the first round. We established that. We're good. Yeah, let's just continue talking about a couple names here. So we just talked about a little bit about J.C. Horn. You guys said you liked Patrick Surtain a little bit better. He went with the next pick to the Broncos, which we were a little surprised about. I mean, I think a lot of people were surprised about, just because we thought Broncos would go quarterback or possibly even linebacker.
Micah Parsons, all day.
So they didn't, in that sense, like they had the option to take Justin Fields. But they're sticking to their guns with Drew Lock, I guess, and
cheeky
trying to see how that experiment plays out. So it's kind of a interesting play, interesting events unfolded there. The Drew Lock went in the second round last year, so maybe the Broncos are eyeing a second or third round quarterback this year and trying to just do the same experiment, but with a less valuable pick, I guess. So we'll see how that one turns out.
There's a couple of decent ones in the second round. I mean, a couple that you might be able to, like Kyle Trask is not terrible. Davis Mills is a guy who's talked about, and even a guy like Kellen Mond, who's played over 40 games in college, he's pretty good too. A guy who's super athletic, can throw the ball on the run, and can obviously do a lot of things that a lot of the guys who are getting selected, in the top 5 can do, just not as high of a level, but you could definitely see them trying that experiment again. It's John Elway though, and I mean, he who knows what he's going to do at quarterback, to be honest with
you. Yeah, so far none of his quarterbacks have panned out for him. So yeah, I mean, but
he gave Brock Osweiler $70 million. So just
you
could Osweiler.
You could have told me his name was Rock John Weiler, and I would have been like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, Brock Osweiler was never a good NFL quarterback.
He had like those. He played like the last 8 games for Houston and was competent. And then Houston was like, "No, we've seen you, and we're not doing that." And then Denver proceeded to say, "Oh, well, we'll do it. You may not be dumb enough, but we sure are. We'll show you. We'll give him $70 million for a couple of years."
So continuing down this board here, we talked a little bit about Devontae, liking him a little bit behind Jamar. So Devontae Smith going to the Eagles, reunion with Jalen Hurts there. Nice pick for them there. They traded from 12 to 10 to get him. Again, I think it's pretty justified. I'm surprised that Dallas did that, but Dallas, probably was okay with a couple of names on the board, and then they got Micah Parsons, who I had them drafting in our mock draft. So they still got the guy they wanted, and then got some. I think they got additional third round pick this year. So
Titans got Dylan Radins.
Oh yeah, the North Dakota State tackle.
Is that why I saw you get like?
Yes.
There's still a couple good offensive linemen on the board.
If while I'm talking you see Andrew or Junior doing this, it's because someone just got drafted and they had their eye on them.
Terrace Marshall now. That's where I'm holding on to now. Him or Samuel Cosme.
There's 3 guys. Sam
Landon
Cosme's
Dickerson.
gone. Landon Dickerson's gone too.
Who
did Landon Dickerson go to?
9 or 10
he's
picks
on
away. The Chargers.
Landon Dickerson. No, the Eagles.
Eagles.
That's go big. I like that.
I got my eye on like 3 different guys, but we'll get.
Who else you got? I'm curious, real quick. Who you got?
I wouldn't mind De'Ami Brown.
Okay.
He's pretty good. Terrace Marshall, obviously.
De'Ami Brown, the wide receiver from North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
He leads college football in like every go route statistic for the last 2 years.
You're stealing my information. I was literally just about to say that. Why are you cutting me off, man?
I'll let you go. I'm sorry.
I'm totally kidding. I'm just kidding. But mainly those 2 guys. I had another guy, but now I'm kind of. Carlos Basham Jr. I'm sorry, Wake Forest edge rusher.
Edge rusher, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see him maybe keep falling. Nick Bolton's on there too, but I don't really know. I don't really know much.
We just drafted Willie Gay last year, so probably not. But I like Nick Bolton. In my first draft, I had him going to Green Bay. So.
Mm-hmm. They didn't listen to anybody this year. They don't draft talent around their offense. They just draft whomever they like. And this year they took Eric Stokes. We have to drop a little bit to show his name, but Eric Stokes out of Georgia. And I don't even know if Eric Stokes was, Eric Stokes wasn't the top quarterback out of Georgia. It was Tyson Campbell. So Tyson Campbell went 33rd overall, the first pick of the second round to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, it's the draft, so if you like someone, you go and get them. But
after what happened yesterday with Aaron Rodgers, don't you think they would have just gotten like a receiver just to tell him like, hey, buddy, here you go. There's at least a receiver in the first round. See, we're trying.
No.
They don't care.
Right.
They're the Green Bay Packers. I would have loved to see homeboy from Pat McAfee yesterday, bro. Oh my God. I would have paid Ty Schmidt. I would have paid a solid $20 pay-per-view fee just to have a camera on Ty Schmidt from noon yesterday to the end of the draft. I would have fucking paid for it, dude.
He's a Packers fan?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
he's a Packers fan.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's the one who had that like freak out over Jordan
A little
Love.
meltdown. Yeah, I remember now. So we had a couple linebackers going in this in the middle of the first round. So we also had Zaven Collins going to the Cardinals. We still, he was still graded as a first round talent. We just, potentially didn't see him going to the Cardinals. They did reach a little. For what it's worth, J.C. Horn, and Patrick Surtain were off the board. So maybe they didn't want Caleb Farley or. What's his name? I'll find him. Greg Newsome.
Greg Newsome.
And in that case, I understand. Maybe you just went with their second position of need, I guess. But so a couple there, and then Jamin Davis. We had already mentioned another linebacker that went. A couple linebackers. I think those, a couple of these linebackers dropped some of the wide receivers down a little bit. And then also by Chicago taking a quarterback, they were in the market for a wide receiver. So a couple of these trades also influenced how, the fact that some of these good players fell to the second round.
Cowboys may have the best linebacking core in the NFL right now, with Micah Parsons, Leighton Vander Esch, and Jalen Smith. The only one we talked about, your Bills. Yeah. They got a little conversation in this. But
they could be the best. They can be the best in the NFC, and will be the best in the AFC. There you go.
There you go. See, a compromise. See? Wow.
The thing about Zaven Collins, I was going to say too, is I completely forgot they lost Hassan Reddick this offseason, so maybe they were like, we need to replace him right away. He had a career year last year, but he only signed a 1-year deal in Carolina, so I mean we'll see what he does over there. But I get maybe that played into it a little bit. I don't necessarily know exactly where Hassan Reddick played in terms of defensive lineups and schemes, but Zaven Collins, from my understanding, is more of an outside linebacker. So,
and Reddick was similar, but he played a little more of a hybrid stuff. They were more willing to put him. Now that you bring up that Hassan Reddick's gone, that makes a lot of sense, bro. Because that's a lot of what Zaven Collins does. They were really willing to put Hassan Reddick out there in coverage, and I've already spoke pretty glowingly about Zaven Collins. I didn't think he'd go anywhere near up here, but he's a guy that had 4 interceptions and 4 sacks. Like he brings that productivity. And even if he doesn't get the 4 interceptions, 4 sacks, like that's unheard of. That's really good if he's able to do something like that in the league. But he can do both. Is basically what I'm saying. He's more than capable of covering receivers, running backs, tight ends, or we don't want to go crazy and say like a bunch of receivers, but you know what I'm saying. And yeah, exactly. But he's stout in the run game, and he can get after the passer. He plays he's for a 3-4 is prototypical. It's what you're looking for.
Right. So while we're talking, the Colts are still on the clock, so we'll see what they do.
They just drafted Dayo Odiingbo. Yeah, Dayo Odiingbo, defensive end from Vanderbilt.
If we could take just a tiny break from football.
Yes.
Chris Haynes just reported that the Lakers confirmed that LeBron is going to be in the starting lineup tonight. Just want to let everybody know. It's just
nice.
Newsworthy. Just letting everybody know.
Nice.
But yeah, we can get right back to football. I just wanted to let it be known. Steelers on the clock.
I'll talk LeBron.
The Pittsburgh Steelers with the 55 pick.
Who cares?
LeBron's coming back. Who cares?
No,
I lost these two. All right.
This guy's so excited to watch LeBron again.
Lakers went 8-13 without LeBron. So they're 3 weeks, 3 weeks of games without him. So they're happy to have him back.
I can't stop smiling.
Okay, so we talked about Zaven Collins being a reach, but I think if you're gonna do it, it's worth it because he's a good talent. Alex Leatherwood going to the Raiders here was a reach, and I think he was appropriately going to go at the back of the first round. I had him going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or at the beginning of the second round. So I think the Raiders did reach there, getting Alex Leatherwood.
The Raiders released an article today that was like on Twitter with it, and it was captioned, "No matter what quote draft experts thought." Like literally, the caption said, "No matter what all the draft experts said about offensive tackle Alex Leatherwood, GM Mike Mayock and head coach Gruden thought he was the best of offensive lineman on the board." And people were clowning them because well, what was Mike Mayock? He was that quote unquote draft expert that these people that you're making fun of here. So. Again, it's a couple of interesting decisions with Mike Mayock since people were talking about him he always just a commentator. You're gonna bring him in as a GM? Are you sure? And the Cleveland Farrell pick was really weird, and this one was probably close to even weirder because you had Christian Darrisaw staring you right in the face if you wanted an offensive tackle, or Tevin Jenkins. But no, they go Alex Leatherwood. Weird.
Yeah.
When they came in, they signed Tyro Williams and Jonathan Abrams. I think they signed 4 veteran players. They're all gone. They all played under a full season.
Antonio Brown.
Just all of them, all 4 of them, just gone. So good job, Mike Mayock and John Gruden. Yeah, boy. 10 more. What do you got? We got Raiders. Another 7 years in this? You got another 7 years?
The Steelers just took Pat Fryermuth, tight end out of Penn State, which a lot of teams were gunning for this guy, but the Steelers could have taken a lineman here as well. They kind of failed a little bit guarding Roethlisberger last year. So another weapon for Roethlisberger for next year, and then they gotta find another quarterback. So I don't know when they're gonna do that, but they're gonna put a shiny pot of gold in front of someone and say, "We have these many playmakers. Do you want to come play here?" And someone's gonna sign there. I mean, for sure, someone will want to go play with the Steelers. I don't know if it's gonna be franchise QB, but it might be someone who can elevate a little bit because they have a lot of talent around them.
Yeah, Dwayne Haskins. Instead of weapons, maybe they should go get Ben Roethlisberger a salad. Or show him where the gym is.
They might need that for Dwayne Haskins too.
I mean, Jesus, get it together. You're a professional football player. Yeah, professional national quarterback. What are you doing? National Football League. Get it together.
So the Seahawks are on the clock. This is their first pick, everyone. So we'll see where they go because they didn't have a first round pick.
I think the next 3 picks are actually all going to be the first pick for each team in the 2021 draft. The Seahawks, Rams, and Chiefs. I don't think either one of them made picks yet. So.
Yeah, your Chiefs have the Baltimore's pick, and then Carolina after them has Cleveland's pick, and then Saints, Bills, Packers, Chiefs again, and the Buccaneers to end the second round. And then today the second and third round will be televised. And
I'm really surprised Terrace Marshall is not off the board yet.
Yeah.
I'm almost shocked in a way, but I'm not gonna hate it if he falls 2 more picks. So. Let's go.
No, we will not.
Keep it up.
Well, we'll see who takes him. I mean, is there a shot? I mean, Seattle could use a wide receiver. I mean, there's a shot there, but I wouldn't say it's the top of their needs.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated. Just to talk a little bit about offensive tackles, we talked about how much we like Rashawn Slater and Elijah Vera-Tucker. So the Chargers got Rashawn Slater. The Jets took Elijah Vera-Tucker. They traded up to get him there with the Vikings. So the Vikings dropped to 23 and got Christian Darrisaw. So these three linemen right there. The Vikings, Jay had mentioned, won the draft yesterday. Maybe it was Andrew said that. I don't know. But you guys, we were all kind of impressed that the Vikings were able to drop back 9 picks, get I think, what was it, a first round?
They got two third rounders, the 66th and the 86th, and then dropped down to 23. And then the Jets got a 4th rounder, the number 143, and got the 14. So, yeah, they dropped down 29. They dropped down 9 picks.
Yeah, but
they still got 2 3rd rounders.
They got a good return there.
They need to revamp their entire offensive line. So, like, while I really love Elijah Vera-Tucker, the Jets don't need to rebuild their entire offensive line. The Vikings literally only have like one true offensive lineman that could play in the NFL, and then still dropped down and got a starting left tackle. Like this coming season, he's going to be starting for them.
Yeah, I think Darrisaw should start immediately, and Vera-Tucker and Slater as well. So yeah, these guys are. That's the good thing about tackles. They usually play a few seasons, and then they usually are startable right away. Sometimes Sometimes with quarterbacks, you sit them a little bit. Wide receivers usually play right away. Tight ends might start off like blocking a little bit more if there's already a tight end one on the roster. But yeah, we're getting away from ourselves here. Okay, so we didn't talk about Jalen Phillips going to Miami. The Miami defensive end last year. He was one of 2 that got drafted. So Jalen Phillips to Miami, and then Miami's Gregory Rousseau went to the Buffalo Bills. So same team. They went to the same division. Gregory Rousseau took off last season, but the year before that had 15 sacks for the Miami Hurricanes. So nice, huge, long-armed, freaky, athletic talent who needs some good coaching in a couple of years, and he'll probably be like JPP, hands in your face. He has like a nice pull move to get by some tackles. So
did you guys notice, like, when you were kind of like going through, like, because we all kind of did like a good amount of coverage on both Jalen Phillips and where am I blanking on his name? And Greg Rousseau. Yeah. They both wore the same number, but in different years. So Greg Rousseau wore number 15 in 2019, opted out, and then for some reason Jalen Phillips took not some reason, the number was available, so he wore it. But I just think it was kind of funny when I was watching their like draft stuff and they were talk about it and showing clips and stuff. I was like, which one's which? But
yeah, so that was the
Seahawks drafted Dwayne Eskridge. Wide receiver, Western Michigan. We still got Jared Marshall.
You'll see. I'm sure you guys will draft well. You guys are the Rams are on the clock and the Chiefs are on deck right now. So the Dolphins took Jalen Waddle. They also took Jalen Phillips. They went away with 2 guys named Jalen, just spelled differently. So the draft of the Jalen's.
Yeah.
Jylon. So yeah, Jalen Phillips grades well. Probably wasn't the maybe most sought after edge guy, but you go who you like, and that meant Kwity Paye dropped a little bit to the Colts. Michigan product who was probably the most explosive guy on this list, and touted as probably the best guy out here. So
I actually had them flipped in my mock. My last mock, I had which is annoying. I had Jalen Phillips going to the Colts, and then the Kwity Paye going to the Dolphins, just because I think Kwity Paye offered a little more upside. I think Jalen Phillips is the most already finished edge product in this draft. Greg Rousseau is so stiff, man. I was watching some of his stuff the other day before, and God, is he stiff. When I was telling you guys in 1.0, where he was really winning a lot and he was getting his stats. He had a lot of stats. He had 15 and a half sacks that last year, 2019. Dude, I counted at least 5 that were inside on a 3-tech and on a 1-tech, inside going up against the interior guards, which is obviously, everyone knows it's harder to win outside than it is to win inside most of the time. And that's why I thought not Kwity Paye, but I'm just saying I thought Greg Rousseau was by far, not as good as Kwity Paye or Jalen Phillips coming out already. Yeah, but maybe I don't have to eat onions if they draft Kwity Paye instead.
Yeah, maybe you should have worried more about your mock draft and less about Greg Rousseau, buddy. I mean, come on now.
I mean, I'm not trashing Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau is good, but just boys, he's stiff, man.
Who was the interior defensive lineman the Dolphins got last year? I know they drafted one.
Yeah.
They drafted a big man in the middle. Because that could have influenced why instead of going Kwity Paye, they went Jalen Phillips, who's more of a true edge rusher. Because Kwity Paye, you could slide in a little bit inside. But let me see. I'm gonna check because I'm pretty sure they got somebody, and maybe that's why. But I mean, I don't really know. Either way, they took an edge rusher, and the frame of thinking was kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted Raekwon Davis in the second round, but they drafted Tua, Austin Jackson, Noah Igbioni. Yeah, no. I think it might have been the year before that, though. I think you're right. They did draft a defensive lineman here recently.
Yeah.
Christian Wilkins from Clemson.
Christian Wilkins. Yep, there you go. That's it.
I knew it was from Clemson, not Bama. I thought it was Bama.
For sure.
Anyway.
So Kadarius Toney right here out of Florida went to the Giants, so they traded back with the Chicago Bears and took a wide receiver. We all thought Chicago would take a wide receiver, so a wide receiver did go in this 20th spot here. Not necessarily 100% sold on the motivation behind getting another playmaker for that team, but it looks like the Giants just trying to maybe keep up with the three-headed wide receiver beast over in Dallas. Maybe that influenced their choice to add another playmaker to their offense.
They have 4. Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. Holy Toledo, bro. Kenny Galladay, Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley. I mean, they're a fantasy team.
Right. Your Chiefs are on the clock now. The Los Angeles Rams pick is in. So we'll see who they take right now.
Asa, you want to laugh? I was on Twitter today, and I saw from our Establish the Run peeps, hashtag Establish the Run. If you're not following Establish the Run, using their stuff, Establish the Run for DFS, especially football, that's what I use it for. Big timing, bro. They were talking about it was Al Smizzle, actually. Al Smizzle. He was like, can't wait for the middle of a DFS week when I have to decide between Kadarius Toney at 3,500 for a GPP. Because you know what's gonna happen, bro. There's so many receivers on that team. There's so many people who are gonna score touchdowns. The 1 week that you can get Kadarius Toney in your lineup in a GPP and he scores like a 60-yard touchdown, bro, you cashing.
Rams took a wide receiver.
Diami Brown.
No
shot.
No, I'm just kidding. They took Tutu Atwell, but they took a receiver.
Oh,
Tutu
okay.
He fell, but he's pretty good.
People had him as a first round grade.
It's because he's super small. He's 5'6" and 166 pounds. He's even smaller than Devontae Smith.
Oh, bro, you already know he's gonna be a jet sweep kind of guy with the freaking Rams over there.
Oh,
they're gonna
100%.
run. They're gonna run. They're
Gadgets.
gonna set him up. Yeah, they're gonna set him in the 2. They're gonna run him on a jet motion, and all day it's gonna be Matthew Stafford faking the jet or faking the handoff, play actioning, or handing off the jet, or handing off the power run. That's all day for them, dude.
Mm-hmm.
All day. They already do it to an extent with Cooper Kupp, who's not even really that explosive. So,
So just going down this page here a little bit more. Caleb Farley went to the Titans. They needed a cornerback, so Caleb Farley's dealt with some injuries in his past. Another cornerback that dropped a little bit was Gregory Newsome. The second went to the Browns. Nice pickup for them. And I think that was Eric Stokes was the last cornerback taken in the first round. So a couple, in the picks 22 to 32, we had some. We had 3 cornerbacks going, and then we had a couple already in the second round. So, as much wide receivers get taken, cornerbacks have to get taken too. And then a lot of guys coming into college now will switch from wide receiver to cornerback because if you're a cornerback, you're usually a wide receiver when you were in high school and you were probably the best guy on your team. But there's so many wide receivers going to the drafts every year, and if you want to ensure you're on the field, which most of these guys just want to get on the field, and you're essentially playing close to the same position. So a lot of guys turn into cornerbacks, and that just so happens that it happens quite a bit, and that's I think what happened to J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain. No, J.C. Horn.
They did in high school.
Asante Samuel Jr., I think, were both
Yeah.
wide receivers. Actually, Gregory Rousseau was a wide receiver in high school, so go figure. I mean,
Yeah, they
you
usually
know,
make that change in high school. Usually when they go to high school, when they get to college, they normally transition over. There's a few of them though that you mentioned that do play corner in the league. When you look at the Browns, when you look at their first round and second round picks, Greg Newsome, and then getting Owosu in the second round, I mean, that's a really good job to start, man. I don't know how they thought Owosu was going to drop all the way down to him. Maybe they just got lucky, but that's a real nice way to get lucky. The Titans drafted Radins with their second round pick because they really needed offensive tackle help after the debacle that was Isaiah Wilson. Played like 5 snaps for him, gets traded to the Dolphins, and then dude gets arrested for God knows what. Yeah, he's Audi 5000, baby. That's an actual, like, that's not even a bust. That's a combustion, bro. Like, you don't ever see that. I mean, that's just absurd.
drugs and possession, and
right? Okay.
He had some paraphernalia.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say it, but I didn't want to be wrong, bro.
Yeah, he was with his I think he was with his girl, and got pulled over by a police officer.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah, I think he was like, I don't remember this if I'm 100% right on this detail too, but I think he was like he's a little jaded, like he's like has like some
Nick
mental.
Bolton.
Oh, really?
some
Nick
mental-
Bolton?
Yeah,
to the
That's
Chiefs.
interesting.
I
like it. I'm okay with the linebacker. I would have liked
Dude,
a receiver
we're
too. But
we're old at our inside. Like Willie Gay comes in and plays the sub stuff, bro. But our base package, like we're still rolling Anthony Hitchens out there, dude, and he's still doing the thing. But
the Chiefs really like him according to like all the sources. I mean,
Hitchens.
Yeah, they really
everyone
like
loves Hitchens. Everyone loves Hitchens. Yeah. Everywhere, even when he was in Dallas, everyone loved Anthony Hitchens.
And it's mostly his biggest drawback is his ability in coverage. I would say he's super rangy though, and he's good with the he's a good run stopper.
Nick Bolton's a Mizzou product, bro. Right down the road from Kansas City, so they know him, homebred. I mean, and he's a guy who struggled. He's, again, like you just mentioned with Anthony Hitchens, he kind of struggles in pass coverage. That's not where he makes his money. Like I was talking, I mean, I had him graded in the first draft. Like I said, going to the Packers, and the Chiefs are getting him almost a full draft later, round later.
They still might be able to get a receiver too, because we're only in 4 more picks. We have another one.
Yeah, we have another one. Yeah, and the North Carolina wide receiver still out there who I really liked. I mean, shoot, Terrace Marshall still might be there.
The way that I kind of look at that, not to like burst any of your bubbles, Nick Bolton's a good player. I just wonder if it's a good pick there for sure, because he was a first round talent. But most teams are throwing against you because you guys are always winning. So it's just interesting, just something to think about. He'll have to improve on his pass coverage then, because if he wants to see some playing time, he can't be a liability in pass coverage. So, but yeah, great pick. Nick
and he's not bad at it. He's just he's so much better against the run. He just has really good eyes. I mean, that's something that we can start to breed him into a little bit. And I think, having Tyron there who plays a lot of in the box stuff, that will help out as well. Mm-hmm. But no, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about the pass stuff because they're showing a little tape right now. I'm pretty impressed. I did something on him, but yeah, no, still run. You could see it. Yeah. Still a run guy. Yeah.
So a couple of other surprising picks was 24 and 25 here. Not that it was surprising for the Steelers to take a running back, but their reliancy on running backs was bottom level last year. They threw the ball, then threw the ball some more. So, yeah, I don't know how many times Roethlisberger threw over 50 times, but it was quite a bit. And James Conner wasn't, a complete failure as a running back, but he put together some good games previous seasons. So we'll see. Najee Harris is a good pick though. It's just interesting because they needed some offensive line help. And I mean, I guess in that position though, Darisaw is off the board, right? So unless you're reaching for someone maybe in the second round, Eichenberg, who else went? Tevin Jenkins was another guy that they could have possibly gotten.
Radnans, yeah, those are second round talents. I see what you're saying. But did they get anybody in the second round so far?
They took
the tight end. Yeah,
right.
I don't know what they're doing over there.
So they literally must be just 100% sold on their offensive line, and just trying to go all in to keep up offensively with teams. But yeah, they did struggle. They did struggle in some areas last year, and I don't know. Maybe they're just they're when you're good, which they were for most of the season last year, it's hard to understand your faults, and so maybe they're in slight denial that they do have some areas where they could have been better. And
I think they know they need offensive linemen, bro. I just think that Najee Harris is unbelievable. I don't know. Like maybe they're thinking he's gonna go like, you remember like in NFL Street, bro, when you turn on like game breaker mode and you just jumping off of walls and stiff arm people right into the pavement. Like maybe that's what they're thinking Najee Harris is gonna come in the league and do, bro. Just break like 9 tackles on every run.
I hope he has a good career there. I mean, he's a good kid, but yeah. So
I had him going to you guys. If he went to you guys, I'd have been a little. We talked about it. I was not a fan of that happening. Yeah, seriously, no.
The one after that was a little bit also surprising because Etienne, running back, wasn't necessarily a need for the Jaguars. So I don't know if what the purpose 100% was. Either Urban Meyer's looked at James Robinson and isn't 100% sold, or they just wanted more depth because we're going into a longer season and you team up the quarterback and running back duo out of Clemson together, and maybe that's a recipe for some partial success.
They also got Carlos Hyde this offseason. Like I don't know. I mean, James Robinson did everything that anybody asked him to do last year.
Carlos Hyde's pretty good. I mean, yeah, Ozigbo was behind James Robinson, so they need some more depth. And but not Mike Hyde. Carlos Hyde's a good RB2, RB3. Maybe not RB2, but he can fill in. If your RB1's injured, and pretty serviceable. He's not gonna like blow anybody out, but Carlos Hyde is good too. So I don't know. But anyways, we'll keep going here. We talked a little bit about Newsome. Rashad Bateman, the wide receiver out of Minnesota, went to the Ravens. That was their first pick in the first round, and then their second pick they took. It's supposed to be Jason Owe. I don't know if that's exactly how you spell his name, but
that's that's his actual given name, Odafe Owe. So he said after the draft in his interview after the draft, after he was drafted, he said that. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, Odafe Owe. I like that better than Jason Owe. I have a little bit more respect for you, man.
He said most people couldn't pronounce it, but I'm an NFL. He's like I'm an NFL player now. You better learn how to pronounce it. He was super demonstrative with it. It
that was good. I mean, it's not that hard.
Odafe Owe. Yeah, dude, we're doing such a good job already, and I just learned this fact 2 seconds ago. So the Ravens did. I mean, I think they did pretty well for themselves. Strengthened their wide receiver core a little bit. Lamar Jackson can throw the ball. We know that. Don't get at us, Baltimore fans.
Baltimore fans love me, baby. I'm a big Lamar Jackson guy. Oh yeah, me and Baltimore boys. Yeah, we straight.
They are very defensive when it comes to if you talk about Lamar Jackson the wrong way, because he's everybody calls him a running back and he can't throw, and then they throw out stats at you from his MVP season and how he led the league in touchdowns and yada yada yada. But Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback. So
he also wins like 70% of the football games he starts. So I don't care if he doesn't throw the ball. If you don't think he throws the ball well, guess what? He's beating your team on every given Sunday. Right. Literally, he plays 10 games, 7 of them W's. So good luck. I bet you the same fans of like trashy teams. What it is.
Panthers just took Terrace Marshall.
Ooh, nice.
So yeah, I was gonna mention that about the Ravens, right? Because me and Asa, we had the Ravens. We had both the picks for the Ravens the same, right? We had Terrace Marshall on their first, and then Azeez Ojulari. Yeah. So see what I'm saying? Like, we're balling, baby. Come on now. You know what I'm saying?
We had a wide receiver and an edge. They just took the different guys that they
took the one.
A little bit more.
So they took Odafe Owe, which I mean is all fine and dandy. Like he's fine. Did you guys know he didn't have a sack last year?
Oh, I knew that.
He didn't have a sack. Your team competing. I mean, I'm not trying to say he's a developmental project, but Azeez Ojulari is right there, has the production and all the measurables, just like Owe did. Just didn't make a lot of sense to me. That's why I was personally more of an Azeez Ojulari guy, and he kind of slid here.
For what it's worth, Daniil Hunter, when he was a junior, only had 1.5 sacks in his final season in college.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm just saying.
That's good.
What it's worth, he only had 1.5 sacks, and he came into the NFL and he plays for the Vikings. He was the fastest player to 50 sacks in NFL history. He did it before he turned 26.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, hopefully he's Daniil Hunter.
So for Owe, I watched some of his tape, and I thought he looked a little stiff or a little lost on some plays. So I'm a little glad that the Bills didn't take him. I know Gregory Rousseau might have been a little bit more of a project type edge guy, so we'll see. We'll see how these guys pan out. But Leslie Frazier down in Buffalo, good defensive coordinator, great organization. Third year in a row that the Bills have taken a defensive guy. They took Ed Oliver a couple years ago, AJ Epinesa last year, and then Gregory Rousseau. So definitely working on building the defensive line, and hopefully that pays dividends for them in the next couple of years.
The defense as a whole for the Bills, they've made really good draft decisions. Even when you go back to Tre'Davious White and Tremaine Edmonds and Levi,
Sean
if
McDermott.
I'm not mistaken, Levi Wallace too. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
I believe he was a draft pick of yours. They've been just making good decisions. It is Sean McDermott bringing in a veteran like Micah Hyde. You guys got Jordan Poyer too. It's just good organization. They've turned into one of those organizations that just makes the right decisions.
We'll see you in AFC Chip.
You know it. Anybody here we didn't talk about? We talked about Peyton Turner a little bit, Eric Stokes a little bit, and then the last guy here, Joe Tryon. A lot of Bills fans had him mocked to Buffalo, but a nice defensive end there, slash linebacker out of Washington, edge guy. But yeah, that was the first round. I'm gonna just pivot to the draft cast so we can see as it occurs.
Your boys are on the clock and the next pick. Yeah, after
Yeah, Saints are picking right now.
See what
Yeah.
they take.
See where it goes.
They took
Pete Werner.
Pete Werner.
Linebacker, Ohio State.
Dang it. I projected Zayvon Collins, I think, to that. No. I projected Jameer Davis to them in the first round.
Oh, dude, it's the Bills, Packers, Chiefs. You want to stay on until the Chiefs pick, and then we can hop out of here.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Cool.
We got
All right.
we finished the. Well, yeah, I mean we could almost finish the round. You got the Buccaneers right after you, right? And that's the end of the round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we'll just stay on with you guys until the end of the second round here.
Sick.
Okay, so while we wait for the Bills here, they got a few minutes. Who's your guys' favorite pick from the first round?
Andrew, you got one?
I would probably say, honestly, Devontae Smith. It might be Devontae Smith. Either Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase. One of those two guys. I like Devontae Smith the whole way. He was the one that I figured that was going to go to the Eagles. And then the last week and a half or so, you heard rumblings that he was David Gettleman, the GM from the Giants, that Devontae Smith was his favorite player. I can't believe the Cowboys swapped with them in the division for basically a sack of potatoes. Ended up being a late third round pick for next year. They swapped 10 and 12 with them and were able to get Devontae Smith before the Giants had a chance to pick him. And then you saw the Giants trade back and I feel like it's basically because exactly because of that. So I'd say probably Devontae Smith, because they got their guy. They were able to get exactly what they wanted.
For me, I think it was, and I'll give them some credit here because I play in a division with them, but I'm going to give the Jets some credit. I mean, they went out and got Zach Wilson and then surrounded him with Elijah Vera-Tucker. So, rebuilding wise, setting up your young quarterback for success. I like that pick on their end. They had 2 picks in the first, right? So I think they did pretty good with both their picks. It's hard sometimes when you have 2 picks in the first round. You have 2 chances to mess up your picks. So yeah, I like that a lot. What about you, Jay?
I want to say Jameer Davis because I was right about it. I felt good about that since mock 1.0. I just think he's the difference maker for them, dude. I talked about it and I was kind of going back and forth between Owosu here. But the size and the comp to Luke Kuechly for me, how I kind of see him fitting in that Ron Rivera defense with that front 7 that's already loaded. The secondary, that's very nice. The real need that they had left there was either going to be offensive line or linebacker. So Jameer Davis was a guy who was rising very quickly for me because of his ability to do kind of everything. I mentioned it on the first one when I talked about Micah Parsons and him. He's kind of like a Micah Parsons light. He's a 3-down linebacker. He's going to be able to stay in on passing downs, gets after the quarterback. He's a guy who makes plays on all 3 levels, whether that be in the pass game, in the run game, or getting after the quarterback, which is hard to find as an inside linebacker. We kind of talked about maybe that's why Owosu kind of dropped a little bit, is because of the premium that gets placed on people who get after the quarterback, and the more of a value they think you can find an inside linebacker for. Inside linebackers are becoming a very, very different breed than we've ever been used to seeing them. I grew up and I played inside linebacker. The guys that I looked up to were like Brian Urlacher and Ray Lewis. Not Ray Lewis, not for anything off the field, just his play, because he was an undersized linebacker. I was an undersized linebacker. Don't condone anything that he did. He's a human being. I'm not a very big fan of him as a football player, right? Okay, now it's these hybrid dudes that are able to come in like Luke Kuechly and, again, disrupt everything. They don't just make plays in the run game or by blitzing through the A-gaps occasionally, but they're able to get after running backs in the pass coverage and guard some of these ridiculous tight ends that are breaking records nowadays. So I like the Jamin Davis one. I'll give myself a little toot on the horn because I lost the bet anyway. So.
All right. Yeah,
I think we actually tied. So, well, I guess that still means you lost because I lost.
I still lost. I hate losing.
I think the best pick though was probably, and I hate to go with the guys, a team who's also in like the same division as the Chiefs. The kind of how you said the Bills, the Jets made in the same division as the Bills made a good decision. They got Rashawn Slater. Somehow the Chargers were able to luck the Rashawn Slater. Somehow made his way out of the top 10. And that had a little bit to do with the trades. And then especially, we talked about it earlier, Johnny saying how much the Trey Lance pick changed the outlook for being able to trade that number 4 pick for Atlanta. It changed basically everything else, because then Mac Jones was going to be on the board, and now Justin Fields was going to be on the board. And, who knows what anybody's going to do. And then the Dolphins were projected to take one of Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell, and then a few days before the draft, Jalen Waddle creeps up, and they take Jalen Waddle at 6. And I didn't have Jalen Waddle mocked until the mid-teens. I think Jay did too. Ace, I think you had him going 7, so not too far off. But
yeah,
Detroit probably would have taken Jalen Waddle had Penei Sewell not been there.
Oh.
They couldn't. That's why they were so excited. There's no reason Penei Sewell should have been there, and he was there.
And they didn't have to trade up to get him either. My sources are saying the Buffalo Bills drafted Carlos Basham Jr.
Andrew mentioned him.
Oh, I like Carlos Basham. Wake Forest, man.
We'll see that show up on the clock right here.
Dang, so you guys are attacking front 7, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Well, not that. I mean, there's some good defensive players on that Buffalo Bills team. There it is, Basham Jr., Wake Forest. This is the guy that a lot of people had mocked to the Bills. A lot of teams that did like multi-round mock drafts. Grades out pretty well. He has I think they have him as a defensive end in their system here, but kind of like one of those edge guys, right? He can do a little bit of both. But yeah, the Bills front 7 was a liability, especially the front 4 last year. So we have some good guys. They just didn't perform well. And mind you, like Josh Allen led that Buffalo Bills offense very fast down the fields on some occasions. So they didn't maybe get as many breaks as they needed to. So hopefully running the ball better for the Bills this season, and then slows down the game a little bit for the defensive guys, not necessarily gassed by game 17 for them. So yeah, we'll see. And they, while they upgraded with Emmanuel Sanders this offseason, right? So they also had to look at how they need to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's the only thing that they're worrying about right now, right? It's how to compete with the Chiefs for the AFC title. So
yeah, that front 4 looks pretty solid, especially these last 3 drafts. You guys have done a good job of just stacking players who can not only rush the quarterback, but can also be effective from the inside. When you look at like who they're going with, you guys already had Greg Rousseau come off the board in round 1, Ed Oliver a couple years ago, and then AJ Epinesa, who's more of a prospect. But when you look at it across the board, it's just a lot of upside, a lot of room for Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier to get super creative as to what they're going to do with that front 4 and how they're going to use them and where they plan on placing them. So darn, I was hoping he'd fall a couple more picks, but so there's still good players left on the board for like even for the Packers and for the Bucks and Chiefs too. But Carlos Basham's a good pick.
Oh, you wanted Basham to drop to to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I would have liked to see. I'd like to see, us get like another edge rusher to go opposite of Frank Clark, and Basham was one of the good ones. There's still a couple good
Hey, so what a problem to have, huh? When your quarterback scores too fast, your defense can't rest. Oh, it's a good one because we have it too. Go smash Schmoes over here and can't see. So
right.
Josh Myers, center from Ohio State, just went to the Packers. This is probably their fill for Corey Linsley, huh?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You would think so.
Josh Myers right there. Just real quick, when I was reading some comps on Carlos Basham, he has some comps to Cam Jordan out of New Orleans. So similar styles of play, and then they're about the same size too. So we'll see how Carlos Basham fares in the NFL. And then the Chiefs are on the clock again. Where do you guys think they're going here?
Jeez.
I think we go De'Ami Brown.
Yeah, I like that.
I think you guys could use a wide receiver.
De'Ami Brown would be good. I don't know how much they like Quinn Miners. He's a center from Wisconsin Whitewater. He's a D3 prospect. I've seen a lot of him. Jeff Schwartz, Mitchell Schwartz's brother, who they both played for the Chiefs, did like a 7-minute sit down interview with him. I really liked what he was doing. I don't know if he's a second round pick just yet, but I feel like if they don't get him here, we probably knock him on the board. But
the pick is in.
I'd probably say De'Ami Brown here. I think Jay mentioned earlier he ranked number 1 in the last 2 seasons across all of FBS on go routes. He's first in every category in catches and yards and touchdowns scored. So it kind of makes a little bit of sense for them to go here with a guy to the deep field threat. I mean, we've got a couple of receivers that we've been under development that haven't exactly panned out. But who do you think? Who would you have them taking, Jay?
Yeah, see, I don't know, dude. I mean, I can see De'Ami Brown. It makes me a little worrisome that we might not be going receiver here, considering we did bring back Byron Pringle and Demarcus Robinson this offseason. We don't have Sammy Watkins, which, I mean, makes it, so understandable. Perkins, the Oklahoma, you got from Oklahoma. Yeah, the defensive end from Oklahoma right there, Ace. He's a guy that, but if you're talking best available, he's probably one of the better ones at a position of need for defensive end. So, he's a bigger guy, though. I mean, he doesn't do a great job of getting after the passer, but we need more of a style run defense.
Noddy, our starting nose tackle, is in a contract year, so if they do go that route, this will be someone that they might be able to nurture as a future prospect. If Noddy ends up not playing well in this contract year, we don't resign him. So
let's see. Here it comes. All right, Roger. I was about to say a bad word. Roger Goodell. Had to stop myself in my tracks.
Let me entertain
Reed Humphrey.
Center.
Okay, why did we take a center?
Well, we were I don't know, interior offensive lineman. Just loading up. I mean, I'm not going to be upset with getting offensive lineman.
Big 12 offensive lineman of the year. Yeah.
He's a effective zone blocker, outstanding foot speed. He used to be a high school wrestler.
Oh, so I love that.
So we got one more team on the clock. That is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, you guys did sign some people to your line, but you also got to bring in cheaper talent in the draft and grow them behind. And your guys' line had so many injuries last year that it would make sense to have a couple backups in case that happens again, right?
We went through a major revamp, and not even just in terms of all the signings we had. LDT is coming back. People who don't know, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif is an outstanding right guard. He's coming back this year. We signed Kyle Long, obviously. We have Rankin, who's going to be coming in, and he plays left guard. So adding another interior offensive lineman, like Andrew mentioned, is all good in the hood here after seeing Patrick Mahomes running for his dear life the entire time in the Super Bowl. Echo Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher. Andrew kind of already mentioned Mitchell Schwartz may be looking to come back, but these are two position needs for the Chiefs. When you're a good team, we're a good team. You don't have a whole lot of needs, so you're able to be a little flexible and start to build some depth, which is what it looks like we were doing. Brett Veach, since he's gotten here, has been nothing short of outstanding. If you look at his track record since he came to Kansas City, you could argue that he's been the best GM in the National Football League with everything that he's been able to pull off. I mean, there's a lot of people who thought we were going to be losing a lot more than just our bookend tackles this year, considering some of the cap constraints that we were under, and the stuff that he's been able to do has been miraculous. And, honestly, I'm gonna gloat about the Chiefs right now. I don't care. Give it up for Andy Reid. the type of environment that they're creating over there is the type of environment that allows dynasties to happen. And I'm not saying we're a dynasty yet. We've only been doing it for a few years, right? But this is the kind of stuff that allows it to happen. You see people taking pay cuts. You see people, are willing to restructure to help the team out. And then, good draft picks. I mean, we haven't had a bad draft pick in I don't know how long. We've been hitting on everything lately. I don't want to jinx my Chiefs here, but I'm just being genuinely honest. The type of environment that you have to build around an organization to do the kind of things that the Kansas City Chiefs are doing, to do the kind of things that the Buffalo Bills are looking to be doing coming up, like this is how you do it, this is the way around it. So you build that depth, you make yourself feel more secure with your $300-400 million man and Patrick Mahomes, and let him know that you're taking care of him. I think this is a good pick.
Yeah, right on. Real quick, let me. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Patrick Mahomes just tweeted out a minute ago after that pick was made, just 3 emoji smiley faces. So obviously he likes the pick. So I like the pick. If Patrick Mahomes likes the pick.
I do. Yo también. Yep.
Anybody you guys quickly want to or mention before we hop off after the Tampa Bay Bucks pick? Do you guys anybody you like here in the second round that you're seeing here on this list?
Tevin Jenkins to the Bears. I mean, they went up to go get this dude, and I mean, if you're gonna get your franchise quarterback, you might as well get a franchise left tackle too. I mean, he'll play right tackle as well if you need him to, or if you're not 100% comfortable with him starting at left tackle right away in the league. But I mean, that dude's gonna start at tackle for the Chicago Bears. They got their starting quarterback. Trevon Moehrig is another guy. Great pick for the Raiders because their secondary stinks. But with how bad you grouped up the first pick, don't really care about your second pick.
That's who we had him going to in our second mock draft. I think we had Trevon going to the Oakland Raiders. So we had them there, just different round. A couple of guys fell that some first round talents. Not everybody can go first round, right? I like I was going to say, who was it that I just saw? I like Washington. Not Washington. I'm sorry. Detroit's getting Levi Onwuzurike here. And then they just filled, they filled Penei Sewell on the other side. So I like building out their front, their lines on both sides a little bit. That's a nice pick for them. Rondale Moore is a nice pick for the Cardinals. They got to keep up with some good offenses in their division. Pat Freiermuth seems like a little bit of a reach to me, but he's a good talent, so he's going to fare well. Eric Ebron will most likely be done after this next season.
I think talent-wise, he's a second-round player, but for the Steelers, I just don't know what you're doing. It seems way too early for you guys to be taking a tight end.
I'm with you on that rationale. Terrace Marshall dropped a lot, but drafted by the Panthers. They just signed Sam Darnold's 5th-year extension. So, yeah, give him some play with Darnold and see how it turns out.
Smart not doing that before the draft because then no one knows if you're going to – if you signed – we talked about it, about, hey, they haven't picked up his 5th-year option. It may be a thing that they go quarterback here. Just, little smart tactics from the front office there in Carolina.
Right. We'll see how Azeez Ojulari does in the NFL, but we kind of liked him. We liked what we saw on his tape. So nice pick there.
The Bucks took a quarterback. Sorry to interrupt. They took Kyle Trask out of Florida.
Did they really? Oh,
they did.
Jimmy G 2.0. This is going to be the guy who takes over for
a little more mobile, but
we've been. Oh, I'm not comparing him to just in spirit. Sorry to. Because we always hear that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or Tom Brady's backup is going to eventually surpass him, and then they never do. So I hope you break the chain, Kyle Trask. But yeah, that's a smart pick, right? If Tom Brady plays 3 more years like this guy wants to, and Kyle Trask is somewhat the real deal, then he has 3 years under Tom Brady, and kind of similar to what Aaron Rodgers did under Brett Favre. So you got a couple years of sitting down. We're so used to lately just seeing these guys jump in right away. And I think what we saw with like Tua and Jalen Hurts last year, they both had some games where they played well, and then they also had some games where they stunk. So nice pick for them there. The ESPN website is not as fast as our boy Andrew is here. So
I got my guys. A little bit. I'm just kidding. Real quick, the one player I wanted to highlight out of the second round, and I hate the fact that he got drafted by Bill Belichick, Christian Barmore. an absolute just wrecking ball on the defensive line. Drew comparisons to Derek Brown over in Carolina.
They gave up two third round picks to jump up to get him too. So, but they had 3 third-round picks this year. So
I was pretty surprised he made it out of the first round. But again, the way the first round started really dictated how the rest of it was going to go. I think that was, if I had to choose, that was probably my favorite pick out of the second round so far. Right. That or Walker Little. Walker Little was a 3-year starter at Stanford. Played really good football, all Pac-12, 2 out of the 3 years that he was there. Gets to go to Jacksonville to protect Trevor Lawrence's blind side. So, they're going to get rid of Cam Robinson most likely. He's franchised and he's probably gone. So, and the other thing I was going to say about Terrace Marshall going to, because we talked about the Panthers picking up Sam Darnold's 5th-year option. Terrace Marshall, as we know, was drafted at 59. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are both going to be in contract years. So this is going to be interesting. Yeah, this can be kind of interesting because their offensive skill players could change drastically within the next season. Not sure if DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are both going to stay. Not sure if you're going to be able to afford both of them. They've both been over 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons, and if they do it again, going to be hard to see justifying payment for both those guys. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'll show you how you justify payment for the Panthers. Show them the record with them.
I would hope that they would do. Okay, so if ESPN finally got their business together, Kyle Trask out of Florida to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that is the last pick of the second round. The third round will be starting right after this. We will be leaving right about now. We hope you guys enjoyed some of our commentary, whether or not how we liked it. In comparison to our mock drafts, it still was a fun first round and second round to talk about and watch. We were all under 25% in our picks, but honestly, I'm not really going to go back and look, but most people's mock drafts were probably about 25% and under too. This was kind of a wild, wacky first round, and we're probably going to be breaking some records here as far as trades go. So, but we'll see how the rest of this draft goes. But tomorrow the draft starts a little bit earlier. I believe it starts at 11 a.m. So if you guys are looking to catch the last few rounds, that'll be televised on the Mother Network. We'll probably give you guys our thoughts about it. Maybe Sunday night. We're going to be doing the Sunday morning roast episode, but a Sunday night toast episode on Sunday because of some time complications. But we'll still see you guys on Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you guys enjoy the rewatch of the AJ Sports Show. We'll see.
Watch LeBron, baby. Watch LeBron.
And watch LeBron. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. Bye. Bye.